Hello there, I'm Nita Rose, and in this video we are going to talk about Rave Master Volume 22, Chapters 174 to 182. The battle between Seahart and Haja begins as one wants to protect time while the other wants to control it, within the place known as Central of Evil where Endless was once sealed away. Haja is willing to use Seahart as a sacrifice to achieve his goal. This is all the information I got from this first chapter. The rest is pretty much a battle scene, which I am okay with because it does look pretty cool. Next, we see the little boy nibble by a tree waiting for Seahart to return, until this witch comes around telling him that Seahart may not return or might as well be dead. Nibble believes that Seahart is still alive, and this witch is telling him that he is being selfish and should just accept the fact. They have a pointless argument of whether Seahart will survive or not. But because this woman has dedicated herself to obeying the elder of her town, she would gladly kill herself if he told her to. Now that is more like a sign of brainwashing than dedication. Speaking of the elderly, he decided to show Nabel and the woman the status of Seahart and discover that these two have been fighting for 7 days straight. He is shocked that Seahart is alive and believes that Seahart must be sacrificed to protect time itself. But Nabel gave him a piece of his mind since the elder's words are validated to the people inside the town, as whatever this old man says, the people will obey it. It is also to show how incompetent this nutcase is, as he doesn't understand the consequences of his decision, which leads to this big mess in the first place. Once the elder realized that Haja is a bad person, he tries to talk him out of fighting Seahart, but Haja refused to obey him and that he wants to become the master of the demon along with time itself. This opened the eyes to the elder and that witch as they realize they're nothing but pawns in a dead pool of water. So they decide to fight for the people of this town instead of time itself. The elder tries to put a stop to Haja but fails because he deemed to be too powerful. But the elder decided to fight back and help, and the words that he said remind Seahart of Haru, and see the elder gave it everything he's got to take down Haja. But the elder and his staff fell next to Seahart as he used it to defend himself from Haja's attack. But the elder claimed that it no longer has any power left, but Seahart wasn't going to use it for a magical attack, but a physical one, as he stabbed Haja in the chest with it. Haja and Seahart both fell, as Haja has one more trick up his sleeve as he's willing to take Seahart with him in the afterlife by creating an explosion. And then somehow Ellie from a distance seemed to have sensed it. Ellie felt the presence of somebody who just died. Ruby felt the same presence, as she would theorized that it was either Seahart, Haja, or both of them lost their lives. Back at the village, Haja managed to get back up, but then a strange mouse was shown on top of his head, as it turns out to be the mad scientist from the demon card that was trapped within Haja's body. The mad scientist explained how he got in there, but he also shows the source of Haja's power, as it turns out that he used a shadow stone along with forbidden magic. The mad scientist kicked around his body and then started attacking the others, and then went for the woman. He planned on using her as a test subject, but then he freaks out as Seahart shows up behind him. Seahart immobilizes him and asks the elder to take him away and tells him that the battle has ended. The others are happy as the elder sees him as a great mage. Seahart wants to seal away the shadow stone as the elder and the witch apologize for treating him as a criminal. Seahart didn't say anything as he lies on the ground ready to sleep for the next 7 days. Ellie notices his presence and tells everyone that Seahart is still alive. Haru and Musica are doing a little training as Musica notices that Haru is holding back. Well, that's because Haru's arm hasn't completely healed from the berserk sword and still feels the pain of the after effects. Meanwhile, Ellie has a chat with the old flower man through the Rave stone, and he tells her fate, which is sad because if they ever win the war, she will never see her friends again. Haru sees Ellie sitting down as she asks him to sit with her. Haru noticed that something was bothering her, and Ellie was about to tell him until this guy came along and kicked Haru away from Ellie for, well, making a move on her, as Ellie finds it funny. She laughed, but also cried. At the same time, the old flower man mentioned that it might be too late since she's become attached to her friends and fallen in love. Later, the crew had decided to head north to find the last Rave stone, but the problem is they have no money to get there, so they need to find a way to raise money for their trip. So they find a village on the map where they hold a dance contest every year with a reward of $1 million. So they had to decide as to who's going to participate, and they just say that Ellie and the mask guy they're going to enter the contest. But before that, they all decide to have their own little dance-off before departing. They made their way into the town until they saw a sign saying there's only 4 days left until the contest. So the crews decide to take a look around until they find a cheap hotel. But then they stumble upon this guy as Haru seemed to recognize him and wants to beat the crap out of him. As it turns out, his sister dated this guy until he broke her heart and gave a reason as to why Haru wants to kill him. Even Shuda wants a piece of him for what he did. This guy and a woman named Mika entered the dance contest as well. Mika noticed something strange about that woman, but is not sure what it is. There are other candidates known as the Dragon Dancers, and here is another shocking twist. The guy that Haru hates turns out to be a demon card captain. Once they learn that Branch, yeah, I just remembered his name, is a member of the demon cards, Haru demands answers by chasing him. Muska also caught the girl, but then she slipped away from him. Haru continues chasing Branch as he remembered back to the time when his sister got heartbroken by him and goes to beat him up. Branch managed to get away from Haru as Muska helps cool him down. Branch goes into a temper tantrum and then knows Haru's name is the same name as the Rave Master. So Branch believes he can be rewarded if he catches him, and then the woman finds a note in her pocket from Muska saying, well, you guys can rave for yourself. Yeah, you read that right, ladies. Muska stole this woman's panties just so he can get her to come to a certain place at a certain time. Like, really, dude? Meanwhile, Ellie starts training as Haru comes along and is wondering why Ellie is paired up with the Masked Man and Plu is paired up with Griff. And according to the rules, it has to be a boy-girl pairing. But isn't Plu and Griff both males? Unless Plu is one of those genderless species, so I guess he can go either way. Haru starts to argue with everyone, but then later on he decided to go to sleep, but as nighttime comes along, he can't sleep. So he decided to check on Ellie and he peeked through the crack of the door and saw her practicing, and he suddenly wondering what it's like to have a girlfriend. He was also wondering if Ellie could be his girlfriend, but he thought it was silly and walked away. Meanwhile, Muska meets up with the woman and decides to have a chat with her. He discovered that she is not who she said she is and is not part of the demon cards, and he wants to get some answers. But she attacks him and tells him to stay out of her business and then walks away. But Muska took something from her, but then she took something from him. What a way to end the chapter. The next day is the day of the contest, and Ruby is at the store picking up the outfit that Ellie's going to wear. Haru came in, sees the outfit, and thinks it's too revealing, until he imagined Ellie wearing it, and allows Ruby to buy it. Next is Branch hanging out with a bunch of girls, until he heard an old man laughing at him. He chose to ignore it at first, but then he laughed again, and Branch decided to teach him a lesson. But it turns out that the old man is Shiba, as he teaches Branch a lesson. But not because Branch wanted to pick a fight with him, but he was talking trash about Garad Island, scaring Branch, and now attracting the young ladies. They were amused by his bravery, but then backed away as soon as they heard where he's going, which is the Demon Car's territory. Branch realized how late it is and rushes to the dance contest before it starts. Meanwhile, Ruby has his order in hand and rushes to the dance with Haru behind him, but he slows down as his hand is still injured. Meanwhile, Muska talks to the Spear Reina as he is wondering about that girl's goal, but the woman turned out to be an assassin as shown her with a gun. I mean, why else would it show her that unless she's gonna have revenge on someone? She's an assassin. Anyways, Ellie and the Mask have finished their practice and head towards the contest with a crowd of people, and Shiba makes his way out of the crowd as Haru goes in. Shiba plans on heading to the north. The competition has started as the judges made the list of competitors. Muska had decided to look for the girl that tried to kill him earlier, while Haru and the rest of the crew stay and watch the show. The first contestant is the dancing prince known as Sir Julius, who is also the member of the demon cards, and that gets our hero's attention, including Muska, who just now discovered that the woman is the assassin that is out to kill. Muska ran through the crowd trying to get to her, but it's too late as Julius is taken out, but not by the assassin, but by Ellie, to everyone's surprise. She did to get revenge on him for what he did to her in the past. Julius gets angry at her and willing to attack, but Branch came out of nowhere and puts a mirror in front of his face to calm him down, and tells him that he's on vacation. He challenges Ellie to a dance-off to see who's the best, and she accepted it. The assassin missed her shot, but she decided to wait for another chance when Julius is left unguarded, and Musica suggests the same idea. Blue and Grip have their little dance, and the crowd seem to be a little amazed by them. And then with Ellie, she is ready to take on Julius and win the competition, but her partner is stuck in the bathroom thanks to that jerk Branch over here. Sabotaging the competition, that's nothing new, but it's not going to matter anyway because we know that the main character is going to win no matter what. So I'll have to say this is a pretty good volume with new ideas, new characters, and a whole new beginning of a new arc. I can't wait to see more. And that wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out my other parts on TikTok, and don't forget to look me on Discord and X. And I'll see you all next time. Nita Rose out.